USPAP page 191 continued. USPAP composition, structure, and compliance continued. Picking up at number 7. USPAP compliance with other valuation standards. Question. I have been asked to perform an appraisal that complies with USPAP and with valuation standards from an international appraisal organization. If my appraisal complies with USPAP, will it automatically comply with other valuation standards as well? Response: no. Although there are similarities among all major appraisal standards, it is impossible to say that compliance with USPAP ensures compliance with any other standards. It would be necessary to review the actual content of the evaluation standards in question to determine whether different actions would be necessary to comply with those standards. The Appraisal Standards Board worked with the International Valuation Standards Council, IVSC, to create a bridge document that provides guidance to appraisers performing USPAP compliant appraisals on how to comply with the international valuation standards at the same time. This document is available free of charge at www.appraisalfoundation.org. Number 8. Differences between appraisal and appraisal report. Question. I have heard some very experienced appraisers and appraisal clients use the terms appraisal and appraisal report interchangeably. I know they are each defined separately in USPAP. What is the difference between the two? Page 192. Response. It is important to understand that USPAP distinguishes an appraisal from an appraisal report. An appraisal is an opinion of value. An appraisal report is the communication of an appraisal, which is transmitted to the client upon completion of an assignment. In other words, the appraisal is the opinion itself, while the appraisal report is the communication of that opinion to the client. Number 9. Public trust. New. Question. The expression public trust is used in USPAP. What is public trust, and who or what is the public in the USPAP context? Response. USPAP mentions public trust 3 times. The preamble states that the purpose of USPAP is to promote and maintain a high level of public trust in appraisal practice by establishing requirements for appraisers. The preamble also states the appraiser's responsibility is to protect the overall public trust, and it is the important role of the appraiser that places ethical obligations on those who serve in this capacity. Lastly, the ethics rule reinforces this concept with an appraiser must promote and preserve the public trust inherent in appraisal practice by observing the highest standards of professional ethics. While USPAP does not define public trust, it is clear from the context that it refers to the need for the public to be able to have confidence that services provided by an appraiser are performed competently and in a manner that is independent, impartial, and objective. The public, whose trust the appraiser must promote and preserve, exists on several levels. The most direct is the appraiser's client. In addition to the client, any additional intended users would be part of the appraiser's public. But even beyond the client and other intended users, there are other parties who may rely on the work an appraiser, and the appraiser must be careful not to mislead such third parties. Finally, it could be said that the general public is also part of that public. If the general public cannot depend on appraisers to act as independent professionals and provide credible results, the economy could suffer. Page 193. Ethics Rule. Conduct. Number 10. Don't accept unless you can appraise for, blank dollars. Question. I received an appraisal request that says, if you can't appraise the property for X amount of dollars, you must not accept the appraisal assignment. How should I respond to this appraisal request? Response. This request would be seen as an attempt to violate the appraiser's independence, and the request itself may be illegal. Accepting such an assignment would violate the management section of the ethics rule, which states, in part, an appraiser must not accept an assignment or have a compensation arrangement for an assignment that is contingent on any of the following. Number 1, the reporting of a predetermined result, for instance, opinion of value. Number 2, a direction in assignment results that favors the course of the client. Number 3, the amount of a value opinion. Number 4, the attainment of a stipulated result. For instance, that the loan closes or taxes are reduced. Or, number 5, the occurrence of a subsequent event directly related to the appraiser's opinions and specific to the assignment's purpose. Bold, added for emphasis. You could respond to this request with the following statement. I cannot accept the assignment with this condition because it violates professional ethics. You should be aware that I must develop the appraisal before I will know the results. I can only accept the assignment if you remove the predetermined value requirement. See Advisory Opinion 19, Unacceptable Assignment Conditions in Real Property Appraisal Assignments, for additional guidance on appraisal requests with conditions. Number 11. Appraiser coercion. Question. Does USPAP require an appraiser to certify in the appraisal report that he or she has not been coerced to provide predetermined results? Response. No. However, such a statement would not be inconsistent with the requirements of USPAP. Standards Rule 2-3 essentially requires the appraiser to certify that he or she has not been coerced without specifically using that term. For example, Standards Rule 2-3 requires the appraiser to certify, among other things, that my engagement in this assignment was not contingent upon developing or reporting predetermined results. It would be unethical to affirm this statement in the certification if the appraiser had been coerced into providing predetermined assignment results. Number 12, plagiarism. Question: is plagiarism considered unethical or improper? Response: yes, plagiarism is unethical. The conduct section of the ethics rule states that an appraiser must not use or communicate a misleading or fraudulent appraisal report. Presenting an appraisal report as yours when all or part is the work of someone else is clearly misleading.